It's your horror girl, Marissa Munster here, and I think it's about time we get to know each other. I'm an Aquarius. In January, late January, I'll be 36 years old, millennial. Have two DOGTHERS, Haze and Rose. You'll meet them later. I live in Los Angeles, California, but I was born in Cincinnati and I was raised in northern Kentucky. I am bisexual and I am separated. So I am currently married, but I'm not yet divorced. I am not currently interested in dating at all. So this is my not dating profile. I have been consecutively in a relationship since I was a child, off and on, pretty much my entire life. I think it's just time for me to be on my own, get to know myself, get to know who I am as a person without other people's point of view, perspective, opinions, etc. Some things I love: anything and everything Halloween. I love horror. I am a horror girl. I am a girly pop goth. I love black clothes. I love pop music. I'm an Ariana Grande stan, but my music taste is vast and varied. If you haven't seen my video going through my high school CD case, you will get a little bit of a taste of what I have cooking in here. More things I love. I love video games. I've always loved playing video games ever since I can remember. I think that's one of the reasons I decided to become a Twitch streamer, to stream video games. I just wanted to kind of share and build community through doing something I love, like playing video games. I also love television shows, I love movies, I love pop culture. I'm a very visual person, so I like to consume a lot of visual content. At one point in my life, I even wanted to make movies, tried writing some movies, but then of course, once I learned the problematic, predatory nature of Hollywood, I wasn't so interested in that anymore. But I still love indulging and enjoying the escapism of my favorite TV shows and movies and discovering new TV shows and movies that I fall in love with all the time. That brought me to becoming a reactor. I love reacting. I think it's fun. I love watching reactors. That's one of the big reasons why I wanted to become a reactor myself, is because I loved watching people discover things I loved and getting to live vicariously through them, getting to experience their first time with a show or a movie or a music video. So that's one of the reasons why I personally decided to start a YouTube channel, and I will continue making reactions and trying to get into television and movie reactions once I kind of figure out best practices to get around copyright, things of that nature, and kind of getting like the editing part down. So be sure to stick around for some of that in the future. And until then, I highly suggest checking out my Patreon, where I do post more of those things because they're a little bit more lax with striking content down, you know. I've always been a very creative person. I'm an artist. I like creating art of all kinds. I have a bachelor's degree in graphic design. For the last decade or so, I was creating my own art pieces and then putting my art on different products like mugs or t-shirts or blankets and selling those, and that was kind of my job, which I'm currently trying to transition into being a full-time YouTuber, full-time Twitch streamer. So please feel free to support me in those endeavors so that I can make them my full-time employment. It's expensive out here in LA, so anything helps. Other things I enjoy: I love horror conventions, comic book conventions. I love meeting my favorite celebrities. You can see videos of that on my channel. I met Christina Ricci this year at LA Comic-Con. It was pretty awesome. And if you want to know more about that, be sure to check out that vlog. Love to sing and dance, even though I'm not very good at either, but I'm a better dancer than I am a singer. I also love to bowl. I love bowling. I don't know why, I just do. I also love amusement parks. I've always loved amusement parks. I've loved amusement parks as long as I can remember. As a child, I was very angry when I was told I couldn't ride on the roller coaster because I was too short. I also love fashion. I love vintage hunting on Depop or in antique malls. I love treasure hunting. I love, speaking of, this Taco Bell shirt. This is a vintage find from Depop I recently found that has a great back print that I was just really drawn to and very into. love candy. I shouldn't, but I am a fan. I'm a huge fan of Liquid Death. Not sponsored, but please sponsor me. I'm in my very first apartment on my own. I've always had someone around to tell me what I can and can't do in my home, and that's no longer the case this year. So as you can see behind me, I've been able to nest in a way that makes me feel very good, and every single day I get to look around and find things that bring me immense joy and happiness through my own very special likes and interests. Like Miss Elvira. And the movie posters. I have a lot of childhood trauma. I have a lot of baggage. I went to a therapist to kind of deal with some of that stuff. I suffer from anxiety, depression, and CPTSD because of things that have happened in my early life and my formative years. And due to a lot of that stuff and people not wanting to take accountability for actions, I am also no contact with the majority of my family. I consider myself kind of a orphan by choice. Don't really recommend, but if it's something that you feel is necessary for your health and your mental state, then you do what you need to do. Let's meet the dogs. This is Rose. She is an Italian Greyhound. She's my baby. She's the youngest. She's very into the shirt because it smells new and different. We call her Rosie. I call her Sausage. She has a few different nicknames. Her ears, she's got very big ears. Her ears were the first things I noticed about her when I decided to adopt her. She's a rescue. She's originally from Texas, where she got hit by a car. And then she got moved up to New York City, and I flew from LA to New York to go get her. And she's been with me since 2019. If you come to any of my streams, my live streams, you will see my Pup Cam. You will see the pups in their natural habitat, getting all cozy, taking naps. So that's always a big draw for my streams. So if you want to check them out, you can. So that is Rosie. She is, how old are you? You're 7 years old. You're 7 years old. She's a 7-year-old little baby. She is, I like to call her, mostly quiet inside, very loud outside. She got a good indoor voice. She's got a good indoor voice unless people knock on the door, then she's freaking out, screaming. Or if Haze starts getting going about something, she'll get going about it too. She can hear a drop, a dime. She can hear a pin drop with these ears. Can't you? Yeah. She's the baby. She's the baby. And this is Haze. Yeah. This is Haze. This is my first rescue. She's 8 years old. She's a long-haired Chihuahua. She's an asshole. She's a diva. She's a brat. She's a punk. She hates everyone. She loves to hate. She will try to eat you. She's, licks herself to death all the time. She's licking me now, okay? She's a licker. I call her my floof, my floofy baby bear. She's cinnamon roll. She is a handful. She is loud inside and very quiet outside. She does not like people. She's not great being an apartment dog. But we do what we can with what we have. She would love to be able to sit in my lap while I stream, while I play video games, but I'm trying not to have that be a precedent. We're trying to keep you on the floor. So if you want to come by to a stream, you can definitely see her on the Pup Cam as well. Huh. Yeah. Okay. I went over to my Patreon and I asked my patrons if they had any questions for me. You see this down here? Are you seeing this down here? Are you seeing this down here? Okay, well, I asked my patrons if they had any questions for me, AMA style. We're going to take a look at the questions that they decided to send my way. Loud inside, quiet outside. Carl asks, I would love to know who your biggest musical influences are. And I think watching back my high school CD case video is probably a pretty good look into that, but I would say I'm a huge Ariana Grande fan. Growing up, I loved the Spice Girls. Spice Girls were a huge deal to me. I still love them to this day. I love Modest Mouse. I love My Morning Jacket. I love Tori Amos. I love Ween. I love Ashniko. I love Years and Years. I love the Donnas. I love Aqua. They are more than just Barbie Girl. I really like Willow Smith, Avril Lavigne, Billie Eilish, Bey Miller, Bebe Rexha, Bo Burnham. I like Bjorns. I like Brandy. I like the Breeders. I love Broken Bells. I love the Shins. I love Childish Gambino. I love Dead Man's Bone. Love me some Dua Lipa. Love Gorillaz. Love Interpol. Love Janelle Monáe. Love Kravinsky. Love Kesha. Love Kylie Minogue. I love Litany. M83. Magic Wands. Mandy Moore. Before she was an actress. Mazzy Star. Miami Horror. Mr. Wives. MSMR. Pacific Air. Passion Pit. Phantogram. Phoenix. Queen Herbie. Ren. Sophie Hunter. System of a Down. The Talking Heads. Tech Nine. Tenacious D. Tyler Jane. TLC. Those are just a few artists who light my fire in my brain. And I really enjoy. I would like to know what you are currently working on and what you would like to work on. I am currently working on becoming a YouTuber, becoming self-sufficient through YouTube, through streaming, basically solidifying myself as a streamer, as a YouTuber, consistency, learning as I go. That's what I'm currently working on and what I will continue to work on. Being a good dog mom is something I'm working on. I'm going to continue to try to improve on. Taking care of myself. I want to work on my mental health more. I want to work on finding a new therapist since my therapist passed away. Those are some of the things I'm working on and I want to work on. Pariah Carey, I'd be interested to know what your comfort show, movie, video game, whatever is, what you turn on for escape/comfort. My favorite TV shows of all time are Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Twin Peaks. I love watching Buffy the Vampire Slayer. That is definitely a big comfort show for me. That actually backs into another question that someone has, which was top 3 Buffy episodes, which is very difficult. Very, very tough question to answer. Hush, probably. Maybe Band Candy, because it's just so good. And probably maybe Restless, just because it's such cinematic genius. But I think my favorites would constantly change all the time, to be honest. But Buffy is one of my comfort shows for sure. I'm currently watching the normies finish up their first time watching Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I'm also watching the horror bandwagon watch Buffy for the first time. So I also like to watch my comfort show through other people. It's like I get to rewatch it, but I also get to experience the joy of watching someone watch it for the first time. Being a reactor is just in my blood. It's what I enjoy. It's what I enjoy watching. It's what I enjoy creating. So yeah. Comfort movie, Beetlejuice, Practical Magic, Romeo and Michelle's High School Reunion, Addams Family movies, both of them, Bride of fucking Chucky, Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. Comfort video game, probably any Resident Evil. I grew up collecting Resident Evil, playing Resident Evil, being obsessed with Resident Evil. I love Resident Evil. Oh, also Crash Bandicoot. Growing up, I could play that game backwards and front. Like, I don't know, there's just something about Crash Bandicoot. And also Spyro. Spyro is another one. It has a lot of comfort for me as well. What's your favorite of the gifts you've given to a friend or loved one? I'm currently helping a loved one with their monthly expenses because they can't afford to do it themselves, which is something I've never been able to do because I've never been in a position that I didn't need help from somebody else. And, you know, it's a bittersweet thing because I've never been able to do that. So the fact I'm able to do that is something really powerful, but also it's something that is not sustainable, because once I left my marriage, we sold our house and obviously, you know, split that money 50-50. And so that was probably the most money I've ever had in my entire life, and just handed to me in one fell swoop. So I'm currently living off of that savings that I have. After leaving my marriage, I kind of had to uproot my life and build a new life. So I'm, you know, kind of on the ass end of that survival mode. You know, my savings will not last me forever. It won't even last me, you know, a couple years here in LA. So that's why I'm doing everything I can to kind of get my content creation career up and going. So yeah, I think the gift of giving somebody space to feel like they don't have to worry about being evicted is one of the greatest gifts I've ever given to another person. And I am very proud that I've been able to do that, even though it's very stressful too, because I have to be mindful about my own financial situation, and I can't let someone else's financial situation ruin my financial situation. But I'm happy that I've been able to do that for a few months, and hopefully they will be able to get on their feet soon, and I'll be able to maintain what's left of my savings to going into this next chapter of my life, doing content creation. So again, please, you know, subscribe and like and comment and ring the notification bell, and go join my Patreon, and, you know, click any of the links down below that will allow you to support me in my career and my life. Thank you so much. Curious about you and your dog's backstories and how you came to have a YouTube channel. This is the video for that question, right? Like, I've kind of gone a bit into my backstory, who I am. My dogs, I went a little bit into it. You know, Rose is from Texas, and she was hit by a car, you know, found wandering the street, taken in, rescued, and then she was taken to New York City, and a girl that I had followed on Instagram for some time started posting about her. And it was a couple years after I got Haze, and we had gotten our house, and we had talked about getting another dog for Haze to have company, and, you know, a little pack and a little sister. And so when my Instagram buddy talked about how she was fostering this dog, I saw those ears. It had to happen. So yeah, I flew out to New York, and I stayed with her for a weekend, just trying to get to know Rose. Her original name was Everly Rose, so I just kind of got rid of the Everly because that's a little girly for me. I mean, obviously Rose is pretty girly too, but there's something punk rock about it as well. Haze's original name was Waverly. Everly and Waverly. I mean, and I named her Haze because Stony Baloney. I named her Haze after like a purple haze situation. I just thought it sounded like a cool name. And everyone thinks it's short for Hazel. It's not. She kind of saved my life a little bit. She's like my soul dog. Growing up, I had some bad experiences with dogs. My dogs passing away. I had two dogs kind of back to back be hit by cars because my dad lived out in the middle of nowhere, Ohio, off of a state route, and wasn't very mindful or a good pet parent. So he just kind of let my dog run wild, and so my two dogs of mine growing up were both hit by cars, and it just did something to me mentally. So I couldn't deal with dogs for some reason. Like, it shut down a part of me. I started to tell people, like, I don't like dogs. I also had cats growing up, and I was just like, I'm just a cat person. I'm a cat person. And then, you know, once I started to work on myself, once I started therapy, I started to understand that's what happened to me. That was like my reaction to trauma involving dogs in my life, and I started to become obsessed with wanting to get a dog. And it was funny that I ended up finding her back in a period, like I had moved to LA, but I was back home visiting in the northern Kentucky, Ohio area, and decided to look online, and I saw her little floofiness, and I was just like, she's mine, I have to have her. And it was after us, like, looking for some dogs, and there was a long-haired Chihuahua that I wanted to get when I was living in Denver, Colorado. She was very old. And at the time, my partner was just like, you need a dog that's going to like live a life. I don't think it's a great idea for us to get a dog that probably won't live that long. It all just really ended up working out. Funnily enough, Haze did not need a buddy. Haze did not need Pack. Haze, I mean, they're cordial with each other for the most part. They are not super cuddly. I mean, every once in a while, Rose will lay next to Haze, but they are not. It's not, then she'll get mad if Haze moves, so she'll start growling. So I don't think they needed each other so much, and they also kind of teach each other bad habits. They both teach each other their own bad habits, and they're just a big fat handful for me. And I also never planned to be a single dog mom. So once my life kind of broke apart a bit, that was a harsh reality I had to come to terms with. Like, I wasn't willing to give my dogs up or to have them go with my partner. So it was just kind of up to me, and I struggle with it every single day. But yeah, so that's a little bit about their backstories and how I come to have a YouTube channel. I had a YouTube channel before this YouTube channel. And I tried to do some reactions, and I just couldn't stick with it. I don't know why. I just had too much stuff going on in my life. And I decided to try fresh, especially with my life kind of falling apart. And this became kind of my new path, my new Northern Star, my new focus, my new drive. So I'm making sure it works this time. And it's because it's something I've wanted to do for a long time, something I'm finally getting myself accustomed to sticking to. It's something that I even talked about in therapy, and I think my therapist, rest in peace, I would like to believe is, looking down and is very proud that I decided to put myself back out there. And I definitely dedicate this point in my life to him, and my path and my confidence and my ability to stand on my own 2 feet and make choices for myself. I definitely dedicate to him because he gave me the ability to do these things. I just wanted to find community as well. Like, I started this at the most alone point in my life, having, given up my person that I thought was going to be there for me until I died, and starting off very much all on my own. I wanted to use it to find joy. I wanted to use it to find peace, to express myself, to put myself out there, find like-minded individuals, to find community. I wanted to be a consistent, comfort, joyous, positive experience for people that they could come back to every week and feel seen and heard and not alone. And that's kind of the whole reason I decided to do what I'm doing. So far, so good. Especially after doing my high Ren reaction, I've found an amazing community that keeps coming back over and over, who's going over to my Patreon, who's going to my Discord, who's following me all around the internet and supporting me, sending me their hard-earned money. They're doing God's work. They are my support system, and I couldn't be happier and couldn't be more grateful that happened, that was an outcome of this choice that I made. It's definitely one of the reasons why I will continue to do it and keep doing it week after week. And I hope you guys keep coming back. And I hope we look back at this video in a year, 2 years, 5 years from now and just feel accomplished, that we made something and we did something and we did it together. And that's all I could ask for. So I hope you guys had a nice time getting to know me. If you'd like, you can send me some questions down below if you're curious about anything else I didn't talk about. And maybe we'll do a part 2 sometime down the line. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, ring the notification bell so YouTube keeps pumping me out and people like you can find me. I appreciate you. Thanks so much for coming, and welcome to my channel.